Okay, we are recording and welcome to PacWest Bigfoot. This is David. Once again, welcome to the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Real quick, just to let you guys know, I've got a really nice piece of artwork. As a matter of fact, here, let me grab it real quick. Oh, yeah. This is from Melanie Darling, an artist, and I'm going to be giving this out to the lucky winner in December. Also, you're going to get a cool t-shirt from my PacWestBigfoot.com, the shop. Also, just to kind of let you guys know, you can get 50% off on the Sasquatch coffee right now. You can find that all over the website, all over the Facebook page as well. Gunner has literally for Christmas given us all an awesome gift, 50% off of our order. So that is awesome. And what else? Any news? Not really. I just sent you guys out an email today. You guys got a nice little color page. You can make that thing about as big as you want. I just had it made from a professional sketch artist, and they created it, so I gave it to you guys absolutely free. It's in your email, so just click on it, and you can right click on it, or whatever, download it, save it, print it off, and give it to you kids. As a matter of fact, my wife's going to print it off for all my kids today. So there you are. And real quick, one more thing. Me and my daughter have a little something special for you guys. Probably here in just a couple weeks before Christmas. She wanted to do a little something for you guys. Something big, but it's going to be kind of cool and cute, and I hope you guys like it. So we'll get it out there to you pretty soon. With that, we're going to be talking to Bill today from Oregon. He's had a few experiences or more with Bigfoot. As a matter of fact, when I bring him on and introduce him real quick, we do want to share with you real quick 3 photos that he has. And I'm actually going to share my screen real quick so that you can all see it. And Bill, are you there?
Yep, I'm still here.
All right. Can you see my screen, man? Because if you can see my screen, everybody can see it.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a mountain landscape with snow.
Nice. Welcome to Oregon.
Yep. All right.
So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up this first image right here. This looks like a footprint, a cast.
Yes.
Okay. And just kind of describe, where'd you find this one at, man? How big was that thing?
Well, this is close to 18 inches long, and I found this in early spring, camped out up at Cultus Lake one year. Real briefly, the story goes that I was camped out in the big cove at Cultus Lake, and toward the end of the week, I ran out of firewood, so I had to go search for more. And there happened to be some just to the south of where I was camped. So I spent the next couple days walking back and forth with armloads of firewood, and I noticed this indentation in the ground, and I didn't really think anything of it at first. And then the more I walked past it, I kept looking at it, and I thought, oh my God, what the heck else could it be? Mm-hmm. And I looked at it closer, and whoa, that that just blew my mind. But the day I packed out, I had to hike over to the lodge and get a rental boat to get my gear out of there. And so I asked the lodge owner at the time, I was like, hey, do you guys have any plaster down at the shop that I can take with me? And that was kind of a head scratcher for them. But, I told them, well, I'll show you guys when I get back. So, I made this cast while I was packing my gear out. And when I was done, I went to go pull it up, and, despite being very careful, it obviously broke in two. There's a thin area there, but I kind of equate that with what's known as the mid-tarsal break. Yeah. That's common in the foot of primates, but not humans. But I mean, you can very clearly see, the outline of the toes and the deeper part of the track.
Kind of pointed my thing up here, but I can see this toe, this one. These are a little bit harder, but these first 3 right here, real easy to tell. I mean, you can just tell it's a footprint. It's pretty plain to see.
Yeah. I suspect that it was probably made the fall before on account of the debris that was in the impression, which you're seeing on the bottom of that there. So it's not the cleanest impression, but I mean, I think
pretty clean.
I think it says everything it needs to.
Yeah, exactly. So let me bring up this one right here. And this is the other one. It's got the lighter in it.
Yeah, that's the top side of the same one.
Okay. All right. Oh man, that is huge. That's a regular
Yeah,
size lighter, huh? Not one of those big
yeah,
minis.
yeah. No, just a regular Bic lighter.
Nice. And
I
then
mean, I
this right here, this one, you have some sketches right here. And I know we're going to be
hmm
talking about this in a minute. You're going to go ahead and share some of your visuals of this thing and experiences. But this way, we kind of have an idea. Can you kind of give us a little bit of info on the sketches here? And you did these sketches
sure.
yourself?
Yeah, yeah. They're just some rough sketches of what I've seen over the years. And if you're looking at the top left, that was actually the first sighting that I ever had, and that was on top of Cultus Mountain. I'd taken a hike for the day,
Hmm.
and it was a little bit later in the day, and I was standing up there looking out over the lake and everything, and I caught some movement out of the corner of my eye, and when I turned to look, I mean, it was gone in a second, but what I saw was very clearly um, the backside of some sort of hominid, covered in sort of a grayish brown fur.
Hmm.
And you can see the detail of the indented ridge where the spine is and the shoulder blades, the arm and the deltoid muscle, and the platysma going up to the skull. And that was all that I saw that time. And I think I must have been in my 20s at that time. And that was my first sighting. And
Okay.
I
And where
thought, oh
exactly is
man.
this lake? So people might, some people like to look up on maps and stuff and whatnot.
Well, this is Cultus Lake, and it's in Central Oregon, about 50 miles southwest of Bend,
Okay.
off the Cascade Lakes Highway.
Okay. Cool. Right on. All right. So if you want to, could you can go ahead and just share with us you can start with the oldest, the furthest back, and then kind of move forward with some of your experiences.
Well, the furthest back was at the same location. My family spent many years going up to Cultus Lake after we moved from Idaho.
Hmm.
Um, and, the first incidents I remember was a summer night. We had taken a walk up to the deck of the lodge after dinner. And coming from about Mackinac Point, which is on the south side of the lake, there was this scream from something out there, and it was more like a scream combined with a long drawn out moan. But that really creeped us all out, and so we we headed back to the cabin, and
Where was this at? Same place?
yeah, same place.
Okay.
I've spent a lot of time up there over the years,
Okay.
um, but yeah, probably the next most significant event. I was up there one spring with my dad, camping out on the west end of the lake, and we were sitting around the fire at night, and he said, "Well, I have to go use the bathroom. I'll be back." Um, and so the restroom was probably about 50 yards from our camp or so, the outhouse. And he went up there, and I was sitting there, and after a couple of minutes, I heard him yell out, "Hey, Bill, is that you walking around up here?" And I yelled back, "No, I'm down here at camp in front of the fire." And he yells, "Well, something just walked by here in a big hurry, sounded real heavy." And I turned on my flashlight, uh, and back in the woods about 50, 60 yards, I saw this pair of legs rapidly moving by, and that's what you're seeing in the upper right-hand corner of those sketches.
Mhm.
Um, so, yeah, that was an interesting one for sure. And probably the most memorable one, though, occurred when I was camped out south of Sisters up in the Three Creeks Wilderness area.
Mhm.
Uh, and there's a gravel quarry up there that's not used anymore. A lot of people go up there shooting and whatnot, but it's also a nice place to camp. Um, and I was sitting around the campfire up there one night. There was a small herd of mule deer close by, just foraging, and that was pretty cool. And I noticed that all of a sudden the deer kind of took off. Not at a full bolt, but they were definitely in a quick trot. And I felt maybe kind of uneasy. I kind of felt like there was something out there. So I picked up my rifle and switched on my tactical light and started scanning around. And to my right, probably about 60 yards away, up this gravel slope next to a tree, I saw a pair of eyes, very widely spaced apart, and very high up on this tree. And man, that sight just made me shudder, and it was very frightening. But I kept watching this thing, and it was swaying from side to side behind the tree as I was watching. And this whole instance probably maybe lasted about 15, 20 seconds. But after a little bit, this thing turned and started heading up this gravel slope, which is about a 45-degree angle, very steep. And I could see very clearly a torso and a pair of legs. And this thing was just booking up that slope like it was nothing, Mm-hmm. And whew, man, that was something else. But the next day I went over there and took a look at the tree that it was standing behind, and I would guess that pair of eyes was probably about 9 feet up. And as for the gravel slope, that goes up about 100 yards or so, I tried to walk up that thing, and after just like 20 feet, I was winded. And I was thinking, man, there's no way that was a person. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty clear outline. I couldn't see any details in particular, but it was a very large, upright walking creature that was standing there behind this tree staring at me while I was around my camp. And like I mentioned in my email, there's never been any, I've never been afraid for my life in any of these encounters. There's never been any hostility involved. But man, frightening experience nonetheless, just to know that, wow, these things are huge and they're powerful, and yes, they actually are out here. And that's kind of the bulk of my experiences right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's man, that's it. Watching it walk off or just staring at you. So you notice anything about the face at all? Just the eyes? I mean, the face, like,
yeah, no,
covered in hair.
All I could make out was a very vague outline against the background, and the glowing eyes, the eye shine in the flashlight, and that was really all I could see.
Okay, so that was at night.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was the last sighting that I've had. But
when was that?
This was probably about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I think I mentioned in one of my emails about, I spend a lot of time up there, particularly in the spring, because there's almost never any other people up there, and it's nice. But I think I mentioned that there's, if you look on YouTube, there's a recording, and I think it's called the Ohio Sasquatch Howl.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're familiar or not.
I am.
But I heard that sound coming from way back in the hills in another instance when I was up there.
Pretty recent?
No, this is probably about the same time frame, about 3-4 years ago. Yep. But yeah, lots of experiences out there. I mean, I spend an inordinate amount of time out in the woods. Probably some people, would say, "Man, what do you
hunter and fisher?"
Live out? Yeah, exactly.
I'm a fly fisherman. I like fly fishing, and so I get out this time of the year. Of course, mostly it's just lakes, because you can still fish at lakes just about year round. So, so I'm always up at like reservoirs or lakes or whatever constantly. So it's pretty cool. Now, you were describing the one um, that you saw the back of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, how it looked, just
Well,
description wise.
one of the first things I noticed was, like I was saying, it was kind of a brownish gray in color, uh, but the definition was very clearly the upper torso, the backside of some type of upright hominid,
Hmm.
and it was moving to the right of my position, but um, they have a lot of reprod up on top of that mountain from the clear cutting when they had a fire watch tower up there. Lots of dense trees, so I only caught a very brief glimpse of it.
Hmm. Okay. And that was the, let me see if I can grab that picture again here. Let's see. And I will share my screen with you guys again real quick. There we go. So this one right here, this
Yeah,
top left one.
yeah, that's the one.
So you got the spine kind of curved, and how far away was that thing again?
This was, oh boy, my best guess is as close as like 40 feet, probably.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That is real close.
Hmm.
That is real close. And these eyes right here, I noticed the eyes that you did right here. There's no real facial feature, so you couldn't really see a face, just the eyes.
Yeah, just the eyes reflecting in a very vague outline against the background.
Okay. All right. The legs, this thing actually looks rather like maybe a little bit more gangly than what most people think of when they think of Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah, no, it wasn't anything particularly bulky, like a lot of the depictions that I see. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like skinny either, but it wasn't like, really super bulky
Mm,
at the same time. It was just kind of sort of, if you had to describe a body type, say average.
okay. All right. Awesome. Yeah, that's some freaky looking eyes, man.
Yeah, no, that scared the hell out of me when I saw those eyes. I was just like, oh my God.
What color did they shine?
Um, they were kind of oh man, kind of a brownish amber color.
Okay. I get a lot of like red. I don't know why. I
Hmm.
guess it's just the way the light is.
Yeah.
I guess it's that it kind of reflects the type of light that you're flashing at whatever.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Red seems to be pretty common.
mm,
You know, most of the time when you see deer, you're looking at kind of a yellowish green,
mhm.
that sort of thing. But yeah,
Interesting. That is that is way cool. I love these sketches, and I'm going to share these sketches on Facebook with everybody here. You guys will be able to go there. I'll have this interview up there on the top, and right underneath it in a post, I'm going to put these images on there for everybody to take a look at. That is just awesome, man. That is awesome.
yeah, I figured, I figured it's been so many years, and the interest in this is out there, and
Yeah.
it used to be the mindset where I was like, well, people just think you're crazy when you start talking about stuff like this. uh, I have a friend that likes to joke with me about it, and she'll say, oh, did you get a pizza delivered by Bigfoot today, or was it a UFO? And I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
Well,
But
I mean, we when me and my mom found those tracks that time in the snow, it was yeah, as a young guy, I think I was just heading, I was I think I was in the eighth grade at the time. So I told my buddies and stuff like that at school, and they totally believed me because we're eighth graders,
mhm.
skateboards, monsters, and Friday the 13th films. I mean, that's all it was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Um, as I got older, though, people are kind of like, well, it could have been a bear. Or what? I've been around bear.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually volunteered at a place called Wildlife Images once for, gosh, about 6, 7 months. So I've been around. I was around grizzly and brown bear and whatnot that were there. A lot of black bear. And no, I've seen what their prints look like plain as day in mud.
Oh
This was
yeah.
not it. It was not it. It looked much like what you had right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, except for it was, right in the
Mm-hmm.
snowpack. So it was just plain visible toes. I mean, it was pretty, how it is when you put your hands down in snow or you step in the snow yourself. I mean, you can
Oh
pretty much
yeah.
pick up the bottom of the sneaker, pattern. The bottom
Yeah.
of your
Yeah. No, you
shoes or
can.
boot.
It's a pretty clear impression. All right.
Yeah. So, and then later on, about 2, 3 miles from the same exact spot, had a something came up to the back of the tent and walked off.
Wow.
So, and it went thud, thud, splash, thud. And so the splash was stepped into the creek and it thudded again, which means it was on dry land. And that creek was about 10, 12 feet wide.
Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty big step.
That's a huge stride. You're
Yeah.
talking about a 5 to 6 foot stride.
Yeah.
So we're talking something that has to be 8, 9 feet tall at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe 9. And you could feel, the thud before it got to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
In the river, rock and sand. You know how hard ground is around here. It was that thudding. You just feel it. Next thing you know, we were out of that stupid tent and into a car with a gun in our hand. We were freaked
Oh
out,
man. Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No, I never go out unarmed ever.
Mhm.
Um,
So
you
with
know,
any of those experiences that you had, I mean, the next morning or the next day, do you ever find anything or see any sort of anything that might have prompted you to believe that that thing actually came back?
no, no, but there were a couple of instances where I'd be up camping with Dad, and he'd say, "Hey, I heard something outside the tent last night. Screwing around the back side of the tent." And I think we eventually figured out that there were mule deer in the camp, grazing for stuff around
Hmm.
in the area, and they make this kind of, you know, chuffing sound when they're,
Hmm.
nibbling at stuff on the ground. Um, but no, we never actually found anything like tracks or anything around the tent
Hmm.
up there. So yeah, yeah. The only track I've recovered is the one that I showed you.
Yeah, yeah, that's just plain as day, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, and how far? I mean, where exactly? I mean, how far away was that thing from a campground? From anywhere? I mean, where we? I mean, you were pretty much off the beaten path a little.
Well, no, I was actually the Big Cove at Cultus Lake is a popular campground. During open season during the summer. Um, I like to go up there in the spring. Hiking back and forth to my car to get additional supplies. There was still about a good 2-3 feet of snow on most of the ground up
Okay.
there. So at that time, I didn't own a boat, so I offered. There was a couple that showed up at the boat launch to go fishing, an older couple, and I said, "Hey, I'll give you guys $10 for gas if you can ferry me over to this camp spot." And they
Uh
were like,
huh.
"Oh yeah, sure," So
Okay.
so yeah, there I was, and I had to hike back and forth to get. Oh, and there we are.
There we are. There's
Yep.
Cultus Lake. So basically, let's see, east side, west side, over here.
If you okay, that's the where you just were. That's the west end of the lake,
Uh huh.
and then this large indent at the top of the image. That's the Big Cove
Right here.
right there. Yeah, there's a campground in there too, and
Okay.
that's where I was when I found the track.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's oh, I see. Okay. Is that
beautiful
rocky
place.
around there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a lava outcropping.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna expand this out because I have a I had some people that had an experience that I think Where is it? Um, there's been. Oh, it was up in here, I think, off of Highway 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. It was somewhere in here, I believe. Somewhere out in here.
Oh, okay. That's around the area of Square Lake and Round Lake.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
somewhere out in here. There's this little thing, and they had three or four of them that were around them at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
they had a pretty good visual on them. They didn't give me too much information other than the visual, and that they were kind of surrounded. One of them actually on their way out stepped out into the road almost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that one will be out here pretty soon. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
a little bit to the north of Highway 20. There's a
Yeah.
small lake up there, and
Oh wait,
I
you know
hike up
what?
there. And
No, it was right here. Here it is. It was just off of because here's Sisters. Okay, never mind. It was off of 242, and it was right
oh,
here.
okay,
As a matter of fact,
okay.
Lava Camp Lake Trailhead.
Mm-hmm.
This place right here. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been there.
Okay. Yeah, it was right
That looks like
here.
it's.
Yeah, this is what they were talking about. Oh, now I can
Oh,
see it on the
cool.
map. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, because they were parked out in this area. It was winter time, and they
Mm-hmm.
making their way over to Bend. And oh gosh, that's awesome. I didn't even see that. That's cool. Google Maps.
That looks like it's not very far from Three Creeks area.
No, I wouldn't suspect. It's let's see. I think Bend is going to be right over in here. So Sisters is going to be right over here. So yeah, that should
Oh, you
be.
still there, David?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
The feed got a little bit glitchy for a second
It
there.
does. It'll get glitchy if I'm running some heavy app like Google Maps is actually a pretty heavy
right.
app and website. Yeah, yeah. No, I've been an SEO and internet marketing consultant for a long time. So running certain things, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I know better.
Right,
I
right.
should know better. So
Yeah.
that is awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. I got some other friends along the way that might want to speak with you about this. So if you don't mind me sharing your name and email with them,
No, absolutely.
they would love
Yeah.
to do that. Researchers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
From my good friend William, and also some guys from I think the Olympia Project might want to take a look and see what you got going on there.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing, man.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that is awesome. Yeah, if you have
Yeah.
anything else, you come across anything else, let me know. Get you back on here, and you can share it with us and everything else. That is, that whole spot, that whole Central Oregon. I don't know. I always ask people, it's like some of the hottest spots in the Pacific Northwest for Bigfoot, and I always come back with like basically three or four answers. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
we've got the kind of Bluff Creek area of Northern California,
Yeah.
Crater Lake, and then that Three Sisters area in Central Oregon, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course the St. Helens area.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of but in Oregon, it seems to be some of the hottest spots here are usually up right around Mount Hood,
Mm-hmm.
Sisters, and down around the Crater Lake area.
Yeah. No, I've heard a lot about instances at Crater Lake, and
They're not very nice.
no, no, they're not.
I never hear a nice one from there ever.
Yeah, no, like I was saying, so far I've never had the only issue I've ever had out in the woods is with other people,
Mhm.
never animals. And yeah, the Crater Lake area, I don't know. That sounds like a type 2, type 3 type kind of situation to me.
Yeah, yeah, just an ornery, dangerous thing.
Yeah.
I do notice that. Gosh, I don't know why. I think it's like a conversation I think I'd like to have on a Friday with everybody, doing a live Q&A times. Just why? Why
Yeah.
some places there just seem a little bit
Yeah.
more aggressive and maybe even just dangerous than others.
Hmm. Well,
So I noticed around
apparently,
the Mount Hood area, you don't really have this kind of a lot of the that kind, but Crater
Mhm.
Lake, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd probably be a little, if quite a bit sketched out about being out there by myself.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, as I understand it, the type twos and the type threes are largely carnivorous and much more aggressive than the
Mhm.
type ones.
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of funny because we're according to everything I've read, the type threes aren't supposed to be out here, but
Mm.
there is a possibility that we have type twos intermixed in there.
Isn't that kind of like a northeastern thing?
Yes, yes, it
That
is.
what's it called over there? They have a different name for it for Bigfoot out there.
Oh, they've got Wendigo.
Yeah,
They've
that's the
got
name I was thinking
they've
about.
got
Wendigo.
Dugway.
Really
Um,
mean, nasty, vicious, dangerous thing.
yeah, and that goes all the way back to Native American
Yeah,
stories of interactions with these
that's where
things.
the name came from. It
You know,
meant something pretty bad,
yeah, yeah,
from what I can
definitely.
remember. As a matter of fact, if people want to know, they can go in here. I got this book right here. This is Notes from the Field, Trekking North America's Sasquatch, and it
Oh,
actually
neat.
mentions that William Jevning, a good friend of mine, he mentions that in his book. He's got a new updated version of this book too, with some new stuff in it. So you guys can check that out. Grab it on Amazon or something, especially
Yeah,
as a holiday gift.
yeah, I might have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I grabbed another one by a person I met at a little Sasquatch, I guess, Bigfoot conference here in Oregon this last summer. Robert Michael Pyle wrote this one, and it's kind of like an updated version, I guess,
Hmm.
of where Bigfoot walks. It's pretty good. It's really good. I mean, I love it. I'm still reading it slowly,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a really interesting read. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So all right, man. Well, thank you so very much, Bill, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. And
Yeah, you too.
if you hear anything else, please let us know. And for those of you here on at PacWest Bigfoot, you guys can get over there at PacWestBigfoot.com, PacWestBigfoot.com. You can subscribe to the clan there and enter yourself to win something free every month. I like to give away a T-shirt or something cool from the My PacWest Bigfoot .com store or shop, and there you have it. So get on over there. Bill, God bless you, man. I will hang on for just a moment. Okay.
Okay, will do.
All right.